Hello, and welcome to this eSchool News webcast. My name is Andrew Barber, Senior Contributing Editor, and I'll be acting as the moderator for today's presentation, which is titled Redesigning Professional Learning with Video, Igniting District-Wide Leadership and Learning. eSchool Media is co-sponsoring this webinar with Teaching Channel, which provides a free website with more than 1,000 exemplar videos, as well as a private platform called Teams for deep, sustainable collaboration around video. Before I introduce our speakers, I want to take a few moments to highlight a couple of items. First, today's event will be recorded. In a couple of days, you'll receive an email containing a link to the recorded event, and you'll also be able to download a PDF of the presentation from that same email. And second, please ask questions. Don't feel as if you have to wait until the end. At any time during the presentation, if you have a question, just type it into the Q&A box on your console and hit the submit button. I hope we'll have 10 minutes or so maybe at the end when our speakers can answer your questions. We do have a chat function which can be launched by the brown group chat icon at the bottom of your screen, and I see that a lot of people are already active in there. Use chat to talk among yourselves or to contact me or the eSchool News team with any technical issues or other concerns. But please don't use the chat function to ask the panelists questions. They probably won't have much time to monitor the chat. So if you have a question, please use the Q&A panel instead. And if, like me, you find it hard to see the text on slides, you can make the slideshow bigger by clicking on the green button in the upper right-hand corner of the panel titled Slides. You can also move the panels around by dragging them around the console. With that out of the way, let me introduce our speakers. Ellen Lugo is Assistant Superintendent of Upland Unified School District in Southern California. Prior to joining Upland, she served in the Ontario Montclair School District in a variety of roles. Director of the East Learning Region, Director 2 of Innovations, Principal Coach, middle school principal, assistant principal, and as a classroom teacher. Our second speaker, Mary Wendland, is principal of Upland Elementary. Before coming to Upland, she worked for Walnut Valley Unified, where she taught kindergarten through 5th grade. She's committed to providing teachers with professional development opportunities to help ensure that students have access to meaningful, engaging learning opportunities. And our third presenter today is Jennifer Morris. She's an instructional coach in mathematics and a professional development leader for Upland Unified School District. In that role, she works with hundreds of teachers to improve instructional strategies and student learning. She facilitates collaborative planning in all subject areas and has conducted extended education workshops at Southern California universities in differentiated instruction. Our webinar today will be divided into 4 parts. First, Ellen will discuss her district's efforts to use video as a centerpiece of its professional development program. And we will then look at what those efforts mean at the district level, the school level, and at the classroom level. If you want to tweet to colleagues during the webinar, you can use hashtag #TCHLive to start a conversation. Without further ado, let me turn it over to our speakers. Welcome, Ellen, Mary, and Jennifer. It's an honor to have you here today. Ellen, why don't you get us started?
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, and we're very excited in Upland to share our story. It's been quite a journey this year, and we are excited to share that with you and get ideas for where we go from here. So to start off, a little bit about our district. We are located in the western region of San Bernardino County in Southern California. And we have 14 schools in our district. 10 of those are elementary schools. We have 2 junior highs, 1 comprehensive high school, and 1 alternative high school. And our demographics include over 11,000 students, and significant subgroups are 27% white, 53% Hispanic, 8% African American, and 11% EL. So that's a quick snapshot of Upland Unified. To set the context for our story today, we're going to kind of review our professional learning goals for professional development in Upland. And these are the three big objectives that we really focused on, that we really wanted to redefine the role and delivery of professional development in Upland Unified to support Common Core and really support leadership at all levels of the organization. And we wanted the professional development learning to include opportunities that were differentiated, that aligned with district priority practices, and to support and enhance our learning and teaching of Common Core. And additionally, we thought it was really important that those learning opportunities were aligned to 21st century learning modes that included collaboration, individualized learning through the use of video, and online learning tools. So in thinking about those big objectives, these are the strategies that we use to try to achieve those and redefining PD in Upland Unified. Those strategies included looking for and scaffolding where we saw success, how to deeply engage teachers with the use of video and our Teams platform, balancing organic learning at the grassroots level with strategic learning and decision-making at the district level, defining some priority practices we thought would give coherence at the district level and embedding them in teams in many different avenues. We utilized our InService, our district-wide InService Tech Day. We're continuing to work on making video a centerpiece of our work. We communicate with our board and keep them in the loop and the fold of the work that's evolving so that they have a sense of what's happening, and really building a cohesive team between the principals and the district through our use of teachers on special assignment. So we're using the snowball visual to kind of share how it all started. For myself, in my previous district, we were working with Common Core Institute, and as I worked with principals, that was the main centerpiece of my work was supervising principals and developing them as leaders. We were using a lot of online learning, and wherever we saw video happening, the principals really just sat up and comments of, that's what this looks like, that's what Common Core is. So we started to see that video enhanced learning was truly engaging and giving principals who had never taught Common Core but now were in the seat of leading Common Core a clearer idea of what their work should look like and what teachers' work should look like. So as I moved to Upland, the idea of this video was still a driving force, and I was able to attend a Teams Platform Summit in which I heard about the Teams platform. So when I finally landed in Upland, I thought this is really a way to engage teachers and leaders around common learning experiences and to organize that learning in ways that can really broaden and deepen what that experience is. So it really felt like for us that, and not knowing Upland, the teaching staff has responded just overwhelmingly and have such a positive outlook on their learning and improving their craft. And the Teams platform assists us in transforming that learning, which transfers to student learning. And the level of collaboration and removing barriers between classrooms has really and truly been inspiring to watch in Upland, and our teachers' commitment to just that continually getting better on purpose. So that's how we got here. And then the next slide represents the idea of the ability to plant seeds through strategic efforts and grassroots efforts. We really wanted to make sure we didn't lose the ability of teachers kind of guiding their own learning, as well as our ability to direct some learning and provide kind of a roadmap for that. So our platform looks like this, and the Teams platform gives us the opportunity to highlight videos, some of the official videos on Teams, and also use their resources. which we have extensively used the Playbook from the teaching channel, which provides resources for using video-based professional development, coaching, how to build effective groups, and other resources. So our page looks like this, and then our groups at this point, I think we have about 145 that have developed over the course of this year. So thinking about how critical it was to scaffold success to deepen implementation over time, these are kind of some key factors or events that played into it. I brought in the engagement team from Teams Fest to work with the principals who I just met on the first day that I was in Upland, was our teaching channel day, engagement day. So we had a principal introduction and launched the tool and talked about with principals how they could utilize it to support learning at their sites. Then I crafted an invitation, which I'll share, to all teachers to join the Upland Teams platform. And then we really began with spray and play, where we really wanted to watch what teachers gravitated to, listen to conversations, hear by looking at the groups what kinds of things were teachers really interested in learning more about and developing that online collaboration. We then moved into, through looking at those lenses of what was happening, looking at how can we add more purposeful learning and set up through specific initiatives at the district level. So here's the invitation, that just a sample of what I crafted for teachers to join Teams. This was actually my first introduction to the teaching staff in Upland. It was kind of introducing Teams and introducing myself and trying to give them a sense of who I was philosophically and what I valued about professional development and building teacher leadership and improving instruction. So through this invitation, in the first week, we had over 400 teachers sign up. And I think it was just that very explicit reach out, join us invitation that really helped launch our journey. And then thinking about after we did our initial launch, it was important that our teachers understood, as I was new to the system, and Common Core was new to everybody. So it was kind of the first day of school for everybody. And that I needed to honor the work that had previously happened for teachers and understand that this transformational shift in their practice is a journey, and it wasn't going to happen overnight. And it wasn't an event. It was a process. So coming into the system where I didn't know the players or the capacity of the system in implementing Common Core, the Teams platform truly helped me as an assistant superintendent understand where teachers were and my individual sites were in the evolution of Common Core and what they were gravitating towards and gravitating to learning more about. So again, I keep emphasizing balancing that organic grassroots work with strategic initiatives to focus on learning. Another avenue of support was we have in our district a strong tech initiative, and we're lucky enough to have a bond that is providing resources and funding for a lot of technology in our district. So we use that to support Teams Fest, since it is a technology embedded tool, and to create that shift in adult learning to online collaboration platforms. So here's a look at how we identified and joined priority practices at the district level and embedded that and deepened that application of those priority practices through Teams video-based groups. So these aren't all of our priority practices, but this gives you a sense of what those look like. So one of those priority practices is mathematical discussion and number talks, and we have a couple of groups that really strategically support that. One is Math Tracks, which Jennifer Morris will go into more about, where it's an online learning community about that shift in mathematical practice and the role that conceptual conversations in kids talking about their learning and thinking about math. and a specific group just about number talks, which is a key strategy that Jennifer Morris has helped our teachers embrace. Close reading, we have a group that is called Up Close and Personal, and it supports the different applications and of that close reading strategy. The Socratic Seminar is supported by groups called Text-Based Questions. We have Initiative Daily 5 and Daily 3 that support that, and Dr. J's Secondary Rockstar Group. So attaching the priority practices to specific groups that will support those strategies has been really effective. Many sites in Upland also have identified site distinctive programs such as AVID, STEM, and sites and teams and individual teachers can choose practices that they would like to focus on. So sites can initiate their own groups based around how they want to put priority practices or their distinctive programs together and share that across our district. And some of the groups in our Teaching Channel site specifically support those, and some just embed and show how to put the pieces together. A lot of this is about connecting practices so that teachers see these things and how they fit together into good classroom practice. This slide illustrates how we used the opportunity of our district-wide in-service day, which was all based on how to support technology and instruction as a tool for instruction. And it was a conference style where we had over 50 sessions with teachers in our district that were leading those sessions. And we utilized an opportunity to have 2 sessions supporting our team site. And the picture represents Jennifer Morris and Paul from Teaching Channel. We had a session that was a basic session on just how to navigate the site, how to use groups, how to engage in dialogue, and then we had a more sophisticated session in which teachers learned how to upload video and how to get at a deeper level with our Teach Team site. So in thinking about how to make video a centerpiece of learning, it's something we do with every initiative, as we plan professional development for teachers and for principals, and think about how can video enhance and deepen this learning experience. And to create and support that culture of learning by harnessing classroom evidence that supports discussion and questioning within the system. This is an example of our big tent. And what we did with this is utilized it as a learning centerpiece for our principals. One of the things that, again, in connecting and putting pieces together is we needed to kind of do a recalibration of principles around the California Standards for Teaching profession, which drives our formative and summative teacher evaluation system, and the feedback that we should be giving teachers in as we do walkthroughs and observations. So we use the online learning plan, which is a new tool on Teams Fest, to create a plan to show them, model how to create a learning plan that was based around the work they need to do as principals. So we watched video, we used the video notes to capture evidence through the lens of teaching standards, and modeled that for principals and how that work could look back at their site too. In addition, we are in the process right now of having them think about how they're going to use the learning plan in their work as site principals to support the instructional focuses and their professional development for next year. And so we're asking them to engage in collegial conversations around as they think about crafting the purpose of a learning plan and propose some steps and share with colleagues. And so we're trying to model the work with principals that we would like to see them utilize at their sites as the next level of deeper implementation. Another strategy which we think is really critical work for us is communicating with our school board. We did an initial rollout of the Teams platform as we shared that we were going to engage in a contract with Teaching Channel to do this work. And they were so excited about it, and right away they saw the power of what this could do to transform teaching and learning in the district. So every week, when my weekly updates, I share highlights about our Team Fest. So we have the ability to look at analytics, so I can see how many visits there were, what were the most active groups, how many videos were watched, how many Upland videos were watched, and I try to highlight the weeks where there's more of our in-house Upland videos watched than official videos, and just so that they can see how this tool is changing the way teachers learn and do their work in our district. And this slide just represents that we are creating a system. But the system has very unique parts, and the district-level priority practices are implemented with site-specific focuses. So in this way, we have some pieces at the district level that we're supporting across the board, but how sites put them together in their own worlds as part of our district universe can look very different. And so it allows us to be cohesive in some critical components, but give some site autonomy in how that work looks at the site and what they're passionate about and how they want to implement those in an authentic way. So principles are key to the implementation of district-wide initiatives defined through their site focuses and site distinctives. So we really want to continue to deepen the work. We see this shifting more next year to more site-specific work as they can kind of use this to support the learning that is specific for them, while still making sure we are rotating around those common district priority practices. And at this point, I'm going to introduce one of our talented brand new principals, Mrs. Mary Wendland.
Good afternoon. I'm here as principal of Upland Elementary, but my first experience with Teaching Channel was actually several years ago as a classroom teacher. I began researching lesson ideas for reading strategies in upper grades, so I was extremely excited to join Upland Unified and find that we would have access to the Teaching Channel teams. It's so critical to provide ongoing staff development, but teachers have such limited time that it's really hard to meet their needs and continue moving our school forward. The Teaching Channel teams have been pivotal in helping us grow as professionals and develop and reflect upon our best practices as we work to ensure that our kids are learning and thriving. Being part of the Teaching Channel teams allowed us as a school site to use the videos on Teaching Channel at a deeper level. So while there are free Teaching Channel videos that anybody can access, I think that when we really started to shift and grow as a school, it was under the Teaching Channel teams where we were able to engage in ongoing professional conversations and reflect together as a team or even as a district. We also, on this slide, we talk about the principals group. So when we first came, as Ellen was talking about, we were trained in just the logistics. You know, how do you get into Teaching Channel teams? How do you set up your staff? And what are some ideas? We brainstormed ideas on how to get our teachers excited about Teaching Channel teams so they wouldn't view it as just one more thing that they have on their plate. So after being trained in how to introduce it, I went back to my site and gave each grade level one planning day a month. And while they did have an agenda to get through on those days, it also allowed them the opportunity to articulate and delve into the Common Core standards. So at the beginning of their planning days, I assigned very specific videos for them to watch, comment on, and reflect upon. And we've moved on from me assigning the videos to now teachers are looking at videos on their own, and they actually will assign videos across the district to one another, and they'll say, oh, I remember in this meeting you talked about this, I found this Teaching Channel video, and there's a lot of ongoing conversation. We're also working to implement learning plans at our site so that teachers can utilize their PLC time to hone in on very specific focus areas that are determined by them. And we become very deliberate about growing as professionals. So we're not just sitting, walking and watching random teaching channel videos that aren't relevant to who we are as a school site. We're very specific. And in doing so, we've been able to really develop leadership within our site. We have several teachers who have videotaped their own lessons, and while they're not really comfortable putting it out there for the public to view, they will view it in their grade level teams. There are many examples of this happening. So we have teachers doing number talks and close reading, and they'll say, I'm not sure if I did it right, and they videotape their lesson, and they'll share it with their grade level or the grade level above them, and then in their PLC time, they're talking about, well, here's what I would have done, and here's what you did that was great. So it's just been very helpful. It's almost like ongoing opportunity to participate in the BISA program for veteran teachers, because you're in a very vulnerable place when you allow your lessons to be videotaped and reflected upon by somebody other than yourself. So there's great power in the videos and especially the teaching channel teams. While it's true that many of the teaching channel videos can be viewed for free, I think that the real power, as I previously stated, lies in the teaching channel teams, where you can delve so much deeper as a grade level, as a school site, even as district administrators, where we will talk. There are videos on how to lead staff discussions and conferences. So it's a great learning tool for everybody. The videos really build on the teaching ideas of how teaching can be done. And the students in the classrooms are real, which as a previous classroom teacher, I can tell you that's so important. There are many great strategies and ideas, but when you go back to your classroom, oftentimes I would find myself thinking, well, that was great for that teacher, but what about our kids with their diverse needs? And the reality is most classrooms are made up of students from diverse backgrounds with varying needs, not just socioeconomic needs, but learning needs. And so the videos really demonstrate a diverse student body makeup, which has helped teachers buy in that the focus is on strategy to reach all students, not just a very specific elite group of students. And that has helped us utilize the information we are gaining from the teaching channel team's videos. The other thing I really appreciate about being part of the teaching channel teams is that the videos can be used for a single purpose, but we can also learn numerous things. For instance, after viewing one of the videos, our first grade team went back to their classrooms immediately and rearranged their entire classroom so that it was more student-centered and the kids were easier able to engage in learning activities. So that was impressive. It was just one way that wasn't our intent in viewing that video together, but as we watched the video and saw the way the students interacted with the teacher and one another, it opened our eyes to a different way of approaching a learning environment. And so I would just say that as a site administrator, I'm very impressed by the way our teaching staff has been able to evolve and really grow without having to face the challenges of time constraints. I have many teachers that watch the videos in the evenings. They watch it when their kids go to bed at night. They watch it over the weekends. Or some of them like to come in really early in the morning and they're watching these lessons. So I think that in that way, teachers are able to constantly evolve in their own time, in their own way, in a safe environment. We've had opportunities to use the videos to really delve into the implementation of Common Core. We've been able to really develop grade level teams, district teams, and it's just amazing how many teachers have taken individual responsibility. And as teachers say, I really feel like I would like to grow in this specific area. And you can see as they're watching these videos, it's very specific and meaningful to them. And the result of that learning is that you have implementation of best practices. So as I stated previously, when we first were exposed to the teaching channel teams, I was the one who set it up for my teaching staff, and I was the one assigning the videos. But what we've seen is that the teachers are taking responsibility, and I actually have very little to do with it at this point. The teachers want to be deliberate about improving their strategies and their methods of instruction. They're not compromising the expectation of professional growth and professional development. They're just having access to professional growth and development in a way that is relevant to them. And so we no longer have that mentality of these strategies are just floating out there in the universe, but they're not relevant to our students. Specifically at our school, we have a lot of students who are English language learners. We have a lot of students who come from home environments where they have limited socioeconomic resources. So it's really significant for us to be able to tune into these videos and learn from teachers who are facing the same challenges that we are. When we initially started our planning days, we agreed on a set of norms that we would watch these videos, that we would answer the focus questions, that we would engage in meaningful conversation. But as I previously stated, the teachers now take full responsibility for that. The teachers are viewing the lessons provided by teaching channel teams, but they're also videotaping their own lessons and reflecting on them as well. In the slide that you're viewing at this time, it's just a very small example of some of the interactions that teachers have at our site. They can view the videos, they can comment at very specific points in the video. So there's been conversation about, I'm not sure why the teacher would do this at this point, and then you see a conversation between professionals carry on from there. And these comments in isolation may not seem so significant, but in reality, they just are springboards for really deep, meaningful conversations between professionals that are really trying hard to build best practices and enhance student achievement and instruction. One of the most critical benefits that we have faced as a school site is through watching the teaching channel videos, we noticed as a site that many of the kids were collaborating and having these very rigorous conversations with one another, and we realized that in our own school, we needed to prepare our students to verbalize their thoughts and ideas across all content areas, and it was a weakness we recognized in ourselves. So the teachers created this daily allotted time where we develop language so that even though the videos we've watched on the teaching channel teams are not intended for language development, those videos have really helped us build skills as teachers and as a school to make sure that our classrooms are promoting collaboration, communication, creativity, and critical thinking. Our teachers are taking content from videos and they turn it into real teaching, which increases student learning across all content areas. So our own school was able to look at these videos and say, hey, you know, we have a gap here in what we're offering to kids, but we know how to fix it. And we were very intentional about how we were going to fix it. So we continuously refer back to these videos of how we can go back and improve the education we're offering these kids that have been entrusted into our care. I think that it is important for me as a site administrator to recognize and support the teachers at my school in growing as professionals and doing anything I can to meet their needs so that they can meet the needs of their students. But it wouldn't be truthful if I took all of that responsibility, because in reality, Upland Unified offers teachers on special assignment district-wide, and that has been a key piece in making sure that our teachers are not just watching these videos, making a brief comment, and moving on. I think it's the TOSAs who have helped hold the teachers accountable for growing as professionals and bringing these videos to life inside their classrooms. They keep us moving forward so that we're not just stuck in viewing and commenting. And I think that's really been pivotal in moving our school forward. So at Upland Elementary, we have a few next steps that we want to be very specific about. We've gotten really confident in viewing the lessons, discussing key ideas. We did have a few teachers start videotaping their own lessons, but we still want to be moving forward and continue to grow and improve. So our site focuses on language so that we can increase our student ability to read, write, and speak across all the content areas. But we also want to continue to collaborate site and district-wide as we hone in on specific skills and need. Our own district has a focus of rigor. And so as a district, we're having a lot of conversations on teaching channel teams about what does that look like at the different grade levels. And we'll even watch videos together and say, well, what did rigor look like in that classroom, and how would you identify it? So there's a lot of great conversation But again, it is a partnership between everybody who impacts students, and that includes the district, the school board, the principals, the teachers especially, and our TOSAs. So with that, I want to introduce you to one of the most phenomenal teacher leaders I've ever had the pleasure working with, Mrs. Jennifer Morris, who serves as a TOSA, a business support provider, and a leader of professional development.
Hello, everyone. I'm excited to be here to talk today about teaching channel teams. As soon as Ellen came to our district and I was introduced to teaching channel teams, I had the vision of using the teams to collaborate across sites. So that was something we were never able to do before because teachers are always isolated in their own classrooms. And as anybody in education knows, it's hard to get out of the classroom and around to see what other people are doing. So when Ellen brought teaching channel teams, I was excited to take this out, and I ventured out into the teaching community in our district with the Teams platform. And I realized at that time that one of my most daunting obstacles would be building trust because people are not really willing to just videotape themselves and look at it. They really had a difficult time like seeing what the purpose of that would be. So I knew once I got out there it was essential for our professional learning to be successful that I build trust with them, and that it was extremely important even when I was implementing video based on professional learning. So I knew over time I was going to have to develop this trusting relationship with my teachers, and one of the first things that I decided to do was if I was asking them to videotape themselves and reflect on it, that I probably should be the first one to do that. So the very first week of school, I went out and videotaped myself giving a model number talk in a classroom. And I brought that back and invited people to look at it and make comments on it and have discussion regarding it. And I really feel like that opened a door for some teachers to really be able to say, okay, if Jennifer can do it, then maybe I can do it too. And I just wanted to model for them that our work could get better together. I know Ellen said before that she had that idea of getting better on purpose. And as a TOSA, I kind of took that idea and changed it just a little bit into getting better together in our work. So I knew I had to lower some anxiety and have fun in our professional learning so that I would generate those brain chemistry or brain chemicals that are friendly to combat all the stress that was going on around Common Core. So as the teachers came down, I kind of think of our growth in teaching teams as seasons. So fall was kind of our playful season, and we had a lot of fun with Teaching Channel. We would binge watch videos. We would, spray and play around with the videos. Like Ellen said earlier, we had Upland University for the tech side to get them on to the site to know how to maneuver it. Paul from Teaching Channel came down to our district, and we had a lot of fun making videos of us cup stacking or making duct tape bracelets and uploading those into the teams. Just getting the teachers used to using the teams and having some fun doing it. At that point, I started a group called Math Tracks on the team platform, and I would upload videos of myself for teachers to watch so that they could have an idea of what the Common Core lessons would look like in the Upland Unified School District. And I really feel that that maneuver was really vital in building that trust amongst the teachers. So on my Math Tracks group, I started this group in October. It has 109 members at this point. It's a public group open to anybody in Upland Unified. I posted videos, like I said, of modeled lessons, and we had teachers come in and timestamp those videos. That's a feature of the Teams platform where you can watch a video, and since we make them here in our district, they are titled user-generated videos. And we would timestamp them and go through and have discussion on certain points in the video. And it was kind of helping us to practice, to look at what kind of strategies were engaging to students, what helped the students to be successful on their student work. And it was like a peer coaching model because I knew I wanted to take Teams platform to peer coaching. So I kind of let them peer coach me at this point in time. And we would use a rubric that we got from the Playbook, which is a resource in the Teach Teams, which I'll go into later. And we would also use some observational challenges that was that were provided by the Teams platform as well, where we would watch videos and then kind of pose a question to really delve into deep into what was working in the pedagogy that we were observing. So a lot of discussion on videos through math tracks. And then winter came around, and I kind of think of this as our strategic time, because we began to, in professional development, really think about how can we create teams on the teaching platform to support our work in professional development. I had started a pilot on Eureka Math, and I had started putting videos and math tracks on then, and then all of a sudden Eureka Math became its own group. I had 30 teachers in the pilot. They wanted to upload some videos of themselves at this point in time so that they could see how other teachers in the pilot were implementing Eureka across sites. So I felt like my dream kind of started coming true at this point, where they were collaborating across sites and not isolated in their rooms anymore. And as we did that, we began to develop a lot of groups in the Teams platform and to support our work, because we wanted to generate that user-generated video, and we planned incentives to teachers if they would upload videos for others to see, that we would send them like $10 target cards, and the most inspirational video would get a $50 target card. And this was from money that we received from the board when Ellen was giving them the weekly updates. They were really excited about it and sent some money to us out of our Highlander Education Fund to give those incentives to teachers. So as I said, here's some groups that we really had put some thought into. Some of them are private groups, some of them are public, depending on the need. When you look at the first group, the Eureka Math Pilot, this was a private group. And in this group, I would upload resources so that teachers would have to come to the group to get the resources. We would upload videos, PowerPoints, I can statements, focus standards for mathematics. All kinds of resources were loaded here so the teachers would visit the site. We had a remix campaign, which was a public group. And in our remix campaign, that's where the teachers would watch a video on the teaching channel. This was an incentive that we did, and then they would film themselves remixing that strategy and upload it into the group, where we would send them a $10 Target gift card. And we also structured groups around our priority practices, like Ellen said earlier as well, for the up-close reading. And these were all public groups for all the teachers to come to. We decided in this time to develop a Teach to You newsletter where we would highlight teachers and highlight our work. We had monthly newsletter that went out to all the teachers with sections of how to improve practice for the priority practices, highlights of teachers and what was going on in our district. And we had a really, it was really well received from the teachers, and a lot of teachers opening the newsletter to see what was going on. And then the last strategy that I highlighted was my sneak peek during this time. And that's a strategy that I used to visit other teachers' classrooms. So on the Eureka Math Pilot group, you can see here, it has 29 members, and we had 75 discussions going on in this group. You could see that a brand new teacher, first-year teacher in Upland, uploaded a video of himself teaching Eureka Math, and teachers commented on it. As well as this is over to your right of the slide is the sample of the time-stamped notes that we would take as we were watching videos. And we would have like table discussions. And this kind of was a blended learning model at this point, where they would come in, we might do time-stamped notes, but we also might just have like a discussion at our group while they were with me here at the district, learning how to implement Eureka Math. And this group was private at first, but now the members of the group are saying, let's make it public. They're ready to roll it out. So as our other teachers in the district start to use Eureka Math, they'll be able to visit this group and get all of the benefits of the discussion and the videos that happened during our pilot. A lot of user-generated videos are in this group. We had a lot of teachers putting themselves out there so that they could see what others could see what they were doing to extend their students or differentiate Eureka Math or how it looked different in somebody else's classroom. And it was one of those things where our work just kept getting better. So a lot of the teachers use the Easy Video Upload Teach Recorder app, and a lot of our teachers have iPhones, so they use this right on their iPhone or iPad to record their lessons. They can also, I just learned at Teens Fest that this is going to be available for the Droid as well. So this is a great and easy way to upload your videos into sites. It's really a two-step process that helps teachers to be able to reflect on their teaching. So another group that we formed to support our practice here at the district office in professional learning was Up Close and Personal. And we try to name our groups fun names. This kind of started out as English Language Arts Elementary, but it just didn't seem to draw people there. So one idea is when we named our groups is we try to come up with really cute names to get people there and have that fun component along the way. In this group, you can see that they have a lot of things that take place for group investigations, which is an inquiry method of learning, Daily 5, close reads, and Socratic seminars in elementary school. And posted there is one of our first-year teachers as well. He uploaded a video on a Socratic seminar he did in his classroom and also brought in the depth of complexity icon of conflict and how that inspires change into that reading. And it really took that depth of knowledge to that 3 and 4 level in his video. So Sneak Peeks is a strategy that I developed, and I had my Math Tracks group going, and as I was going around the classrooms, I was seeing what other teachers were doing, and I would say, wow, this is really great. I wish somebody else could see what was going on in your classroom. And the first time that someone said I could videotape them, that's where my Sneak Peek idea was born. So I wanted to make it fun, and I wanted to make myself a little goofy and vulnerable so that the teachers would be able to be vulnerable and not have a fear of being judged or rejected. So what I did is I kind of developed a Steve Irwin voice and mannerisms, and I would say, you know, come on in to Mrs. Mendez's classroom, and we're going to see what's going on today. And then I open the door, and we go in and view the lesson. So it's a very easy strategy where we do, and we only do like 15-minute lessons at this point so that people can get a quick glimpse of what's going on in the classroom, because we found teachers really don't have a lot of time to watch uncut lessons. So our videos are often 15 minutes in the sneak peek. And I would also load resources here. So if I was in, on this screenshot, you could see I was in an Inquiry Math Congress with Ashley Evans, one of our teachers, and I would load the PowerPoint that she used during that lesson along with the video so that teachers could use them in their classroom as well. So we're getting that across site collaboration going, and it was really awesome to see that because people are often using the resources that are loaded there. On this slide, you see a copy of our Upland Teams newsletter that goes out once a month. This is where we highlight teachers. We put our contests in there. You can see that it's also a great place to put links to resources. So if someone wants to watch Carolyn DeFazio, you can see how it's highlighted in red. That's a link to her video. Or if they need the Teacher Recorder app, they can click on that and get the Recorder app. If they want to see what the PowerPoint is, that's highlighted as well. And it really was a way to highlight and spotlight these teachers who were trying, even some of them for the first time, these strategies and how terrific they were turning out in video. And then down at the bottom, you can see right now we have a Tell-In Challenge going on, and our Tell-In Challenge is just keeping the kids engaged in this last month of school. And so teachers who have strategies to do that and videotape it and upload them will get that $10 target card. So then we went into spring, and that was kind of our renewal time, our time for like going deeper with the video, self-reflecting and developing groups where we would peer coach, timestamp, self-reflect. And we also were reflecting on our pedagogy and what exactly are we looking at in our pedagogy that's helping students understand the content that they need to learn. And also connect them to those bigger ideas out in the real life, you know, out when they go out into the world and how they can apply the knowledge that they've learned in the classroom, what's important. And then this also was a time that we developed the big tent for the administrators as well. So some of our participation highlights during this time was our Mirror on the Wall group, which was a self-reflection group. Eureka Math Pilot Part 2 went into a more peer coaching model. We had other peer coaching models going on with our secondary math TOSAs, and then some video reflection and analysis was going on during this time. That was our focus. So the first group is our Mirror on the Wall, and what we did with this group is we asked teachers to set a goal that they wanted to improve on in their practice, and they would upload videos, and then we would upload videos, into the group to help them. So if they said they wanted to work on formative assessment, we would upload videos from Teaching Channel for them to use to develop their practice, or if they wanted to work on student engagement, then we would upload videos that had great examples of student engagement. Once they watched the videos, they would then go back to their classroom and practice one of the strategies that they saw in the videos, and they would take some kind of evidence and then reflect on it. So this group kind of went, teachers were at different comfort levels. Some took pictures of themselves, some videotaped themselves, some wrote reflections. Some of them just reflected on student work from the lesson. So we just kind of let them be where they were in the self-reflecting phase. And it was a group that really took off and was a great benefit for teachers who wanted to improve their practice. In Eureka Math Pilot, we did Part 2, Going Deep with Teachers. And so this is when we went down to Dallas Team Fest, the Teams platform, and we learned how to develop the learning plan steps. And we loved the idea of learning plans because it gave us this opportunity to bring blended learning in. So when the teachers were here with us, we could use the teaching channel, but then they could also have steps to accomplish on their own before they came back with us the next time. So this also took off across sites. And like I said, it was the first time we used the learning plan, and we used rubrics from the Playbook and put those steps into a learning plan as we went out to look at other teachers and view lessons and peer coach. On the right side, you see comments that we used when we were out doing classroom observations and really looking at those 3 shifts in the Common Core mathematics. So peer coaching is kind of where we're at right now with the blended learning, and instruction is really like a dance. So the teacher leads, but the students have to be in step as well. And peer coaching kind of lets us look deeply at engagement, at student work, formative assessment. And we actually kind of look at 2 types of formative assessment when we're looking at it. We look at the engagement of the students because we don't want students not engaged in classrooms, so we're looking like kind of at a behavioral look at formative assessment, but then also at the instructional formative assessment view too. And we're learning right now to coach each other honestly and in the spirit of collaboration. One thing that we've done to do that is really focus on student work, because this helps us come together to develop a plan and to think about how we're going to move that dance along and be in the same step with our students and with each other as well. So this is a picture on this screenshot of the coaching playbook. When you go to the playbook, there's many sections that you can go to. They have administrative sections, they have teaching sections, but this is the coaching section. And we get a lot of our resources from this section, and I love it because we don't have to go out looking for the resources. I could just go right in the playbook. Oh, do they have a rubric? Here it is. I'm going to use it. And they also have videos there that help you as well. In the Teams platform, Teach provides all these resources that we need, which saves us a lot of time. And it's just really exciting because the cross-district team is a new product that's coming out. So we have a school district that's next to us that use the Teach teams as well. And we're going to create a group, and it's going to really expand our level of understanding of Common Core as we venture even outside of our own district to join a team with another district. And so you can see on this slide that we have the lesson plan step there, that after they watch today's lesson, they're going to reflect on the shift, and then they would complete an activity, what we call here in professional learning as a square, triangle, circle. So a square would be something they agreed with in that observation. A triangle would be they saw a new angle on something in that observation, and a circle is a question that's still circling in their head. And then we use that a lot for feedback, and we're also using a model now called 3 glows, 1 grow. So as we watch videos, we talk about 3 glows from the teacher observation, and then one avenue that they could pursue to look as a growth area for their practice. And at this point, I'm going to hand it back to Ellen so she can summarize the webinar for us.
So we hope that you got a pretty good picture of what the TeamSpec implementation looks like in Upland Unified from the district level, site implementation, and then the support through individual teachers, through Jennifer and the work of the TOSAs. And again, the impact is to really ensure that this platform allows us to really paint a picture of the work in our district that we'd like to see and that is currently happening, and it gives us an area to focus our future growth on. And we really feel that it gives us a place to connect all those dots on this platform, give teachers relevant PD that is aligned to our district initiatives, and we are continuing to work on developing that leadership and improving capacity at every level in order to ensure that our students are getting more effective instruction every day. And we do see this is visible evidence. It's kind of like having visible learning, that you can actually see that learning grow and develop over time as you implement the platform.
All right. Well, thank you, Ellen, Jennifer, and Mary, so much for sharing your insights about what it takes at the district, the school, and the classroom level to create a professional learning program with video as its centerpiece. We have very little time left, 3 minutes, and there were a ton of questions that came in. So we're not going to get to all of them by any stretch. In fact, we'll probably only get to a couple. So if you want to get an answer to your question, please send your question again to teams, T-E-A-M-S, @teachingchannel.org, and we'll make sure that you get an answer to your question. And while we have a couple of seconds, I'd like to share some of the resources that are available from Teaching Channel. At teachingchannel.org/teams, you can access a wealth of resources on video-based professional learning, including videos of experts discussing research-based practices, the use of video in professional learning, case studies of districts using video successfully for professional learning. So as quickly, we have 2 minutes left. Let's turn our attention to some of the questions. Ellen, I'm going to come straight to you first. It sounds as if this has been a really, really seamless implementation at Upland. Is it usual to have such universal support for a district initiative? And why do you think video-based professional development on the Teams platform has been so enthusiastically received?
Well, I think probably being new to the district and the system gave me maybe a little more bravery and to kind of push out there. But I also saw that, again, with the first year of full implementation of Common Core, I could not see how this resource wouldn't be embraced in supporting that transition on almost every level possible. So I think just where we were in education, timing-wise for this, and how it aligns to 21st century learning, and how it aligns to building collaboration across schools in a way that just isn't possible without it.
Okay, great. Thank you. And sort of on a similar angle, how did you, one of the audience members want to know, how did you initially address teachers' concerns about video being recorded in their classroom, being used for teacher evaluation? And that's been a concern that we've heard that some of them have.
Yeah, and most of this happened, most of the initial video work happened through teacher to teacher. So I would say Jennifer's outreach initially, so it wasn't really, I think the video uploads really happened through the initiatives and the work of coaching teachers versus administrators' work. I think it really was leveraged that way and helping each other. I saw they just were hungry to watch each other versus it being in a more formal setting of, or watching themselves. So I think the coaching aspect and teacher to teacher supported that, kind of the embracing that as a learning tool versus if it came out or was utilized more through the administrative. I think now it's just it's kind of peer coaching. It's kind of a tool that we
And I think it's also administrators building the trust of their staff, which learning cannot happen if there is not trust. And so I think that first and foremost, administrators have to build those relationships with their staff so that the teachers can trust what the intention of the videotaping is. And it has to come from the teacher. I would not feel comfortable as an administrator saying, I expect this lesson to be videotaped. That takes all of the meaning and the learning away, and that's not the purpose. So everybody agreeing on the purpose helps avoid issues with evaluation concerns, I think.
And through the Teams platform, you can set the level of privacy. So we actually use this too as our BITSA support. So support provider and beginning teacher, private group, so that the beginning teacher can upload whatever they choose versus the one time the support provider can come into their classroom. They can choose what they're going to upload to have that conversation around.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, that is all the time we have left today. I mean, we have enough questions. We could go for another hour or two, quite frankly, but I'm afraid we do have to wrap it up. And as we do that, I want to thank Ellen Lugo, Mary Wendland, and Jennifer Morris for their excellent presentations. And I'd also like to thank Teaching Channel for its support. And a final reminder, we will send out an email to everyone who attended when the recording of the webinar is ready. So thank you all for attending, and this concludes today's webcast. Goodbye.
Thank you.